A very good morning to all of you on behalf of organizing committee. Myself, Anindita Basu, one of the conveners of the webinar, would like to extend a hearty welcome to all of you in the webinar on tools and techniques for preserving library documents in this present situation. Webinar is jointly organized by Info-Lib Academia and Sarsuna College. In present situation, we all are in homebound condition and unable to access library documents physically. But we hope very soon we will return in our normal life. We all know that library is the knowledge repository of any organization. Books and other documents are the resources of library, so we should take care of and save all these valuable documents of library. The activities involved scientifically handling and protection of library resources are called preservation of library documents. In today's webinar, respected resource persons are Dr. Biplab Chakraborty, Professor, Department of Library and Information Science, University of Calcutta; Dr. Swapna Banerjee, Dean, Faculty Council for Post-Graduation in Education, Journalism and Library and Information Science; Professor, Department of Library and Information Science, University of Calcutta; Dr. Abira Chakraborty, Librarian, Lady Brabourne College; Dr. Sanjukta Mitra, Librarian of Rani Birla Girls College; Dr. Shuchishmita Majumdar, Librarian, Gurudas Mahavidyalaya; Mr. Shobhan Chatterjee, Librarian, the West Bengal Taxation Tribunal. A question answer session will be there after the deliberation of all the respected speakers. All participants are requested to put their questions in YouTube chat box. The feedback link will be provided also in YouTube chat box. You can download the certificates from UGC MOOCs. The program is encouraged by our respected principal, Dr. Shubhankar Tripathi. He is also the patron of the webinar. I am requesting Dr. Shubhankar Tripathi to deliver his welcome address. Over to sir. Sir, please.
Thank you, Anindita. Thank
Welcome,
you, Anindita. I'm audible. Am I audible?
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Am
sir.
I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Sir, please carry on.
Okay. Okay. I welcome first of all, I welcome collaborators for this beautiful for arranging this beautiful joint collaborator with Info-Lib Academia. Today's librarian tools and technology for preserving library document Biplab Chakraborty of Calcutta University, Dr. Professor Swapna Banerjee of Calcutta University, Dr. Abir Chakraborty of Lady Brabourne College, Dr. Sanjukta Mitra, Rani Birla Girls College, Dr. Suchishmita Majumdar, Gurudas Mahavidyalaya, and Mr. Shobhanjit Chatterjee, the West Bengal Taxation Tribunal. All are of you are welcome in this session. Now, let me say a few words regarding the tools and techniques for preserving. One thing more, I also thank to Anindita to organize as a co-convener of the session. Now, tools and techniques for preserving library documents in the present situation is the topic of today's webinar. Now we know library is the powerhouse of knowledge. So library nowadays library does not contain only the written printed books only, but some after digitization, it contains several digitized information system that is might and for us during this COVID situation, during this lockdown situation, digital materials. Library, literature, library Islam, and the first handle were done by Arabians. Now, still there, it's a formation, it's a reservation, are continuously in our in Nalanda. There are 9 millions of uh, now the how to maintain the documents of the library at present. Now, I think to speaker will throw some light towards this topic, and we may preserve our documents accordingly. Library materials were preserved in ancient India in different forms. Sometimes the skin of the animals coated by fat layer was were used. Sometimes other types of that is the leaves of trees were used, and camphor and some oils were used to preserve the material. Now, at present, there are so many techniques, and science has developed too much. We can preserve all. Again, render my thanks to the organizer, to give me this opportunity to speak about this. Or I am just requesting Anindita to continue your program, and I again render my thanks to all the in YouTube or other from other platforms. Anindita, please continue.
Sir,
Anindita.
yes, I'm listening. Thank you, sir, for your valuable speech. And now I am requesting Dr. Sheikh Abul Salam, one of the conveners of today's webinar, to introduce all speakers. Over to Dr. Salam. Dr. Salam, please carry on the next session.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to all of you to this webinar, state level webinars. The topics of this webinar is tools and techniques for preserving the library documents in the present situation. We all know that we have to preserve the library documents, particularly it will be a challenge to us during this post-COVID situation. What will be our roles of the LIS professionals, and how will we manage the library documents with the help of different tools and technologies. In the present era, there is also with the help of the ICT tools and technologies, we have a lot of challenge to how to preserve the documents. There is digital preservations are there. We have a lot of bright speakers with us, so they will definitely highlight on the different topics of their research activities, what they are already done in this particular field. And at first, I would like to thank Dr. Shubhankar Tripathi, principal of Sarsuna College, for making us with this collaboration with Info-Lib Academia. And then we will have with us Dr. Swapna Banerjee. He is the keynote speaker for the day, and he is having a lot of responsibilities in spite of in spite of her busy schedules. He spares some times with us. And Dr. Banerjee is now the Dean, Faculty Council in Education, Journalism and Mass Communication, and Library and Information Science. He is also professor of our Department of Library Information Science, University of Calcutta. He will deliver the keynote speaker for the day. In addition to that, we have with us Dr. Abira Chakraborty. He is now librarian of the Lady Brabourne College. He has very thoughtful speech. She has very thoughtful speech, and she will deliver and enlighten us with his very, very important deliberation. In addition to that, with us, Dr. Sanjukta Mitro. She is also the librarian of Rani Birla Girls College, and Sanjukta has also published a lot of publications. Also, he has a very good book, international. She's published very good international books. We have already seen in Facebook and other places. So she also will enlighten us in her research areas. Already very interesting topics. I think she will deliver to enrich us on that particular topics. And in addition to that, there is also Dr. Suchismita Majumdar with us. She is also having a very good topics to cover up the topic of the today's webinar. She is the librarian of Sri Gurudas Mahavidyalaya. Okay, Suchismita will deliver her topic. And then we have with us Mr. Somanjit Chatterjee. He is the librarian of the West Bengal Taxation Tribunal, Government of West Bengal. He is also, he will enlighten us with the deliberation of a nice speech to cover up the today's topics. And I would like also thank to our beloved teachers, the director of the webinar and chairman Info-Lib Academia, Dr. Professor Biplab Chakraborty. Actually, he is the mastermind of all the things happening today. And you know that we are organizing a lot of seminars, a series of seminars in collaboration of different institutions. So now I would like to deliver the mic and camera to Dr. Chakraborty. Sir, please carry on.
Thank you, Dr. Abul Salam. Very good morning and very good morning to all. Respected Dr. Shubhankar Tripathi sir, principal of Sarsuna College and a patron of this webinar. Respected Professor Swapna Banerjee, my colleague in the Department of Library Information Science of Calcutta University. And she is the Dean of the Faculty in Library Science Education and Journalism. Moreover, she is also the chairman of the Undergraduate Board of Studies in Library Science. Other speakers, Dr. Abira Chakraborty, librarian of Lady Brabourne College, Dr. Sanjukta Mitro, librarian of Rani Birla College, Dr. Suchismita Majumdar, librarian of Sir Gurudas Mahavidyalaya, Dr. Abul Salam, librarian of Shibpur Dinabandhu institutions and one of the conveners of this webinar, Srimati Anindita Basu, librarian of Sarsuna College, and other speakers, Sri Shobhanji Chatterjee, Librarian of West Bengal Taxation Tribunal, executive members of the Info-Lib Academia, teachers, colleagues of the Sarsuna College, and other dear participants. At the outset, I have to convey my gratitude to the organizers for inviting me to act as the director of this webinar, especially on the topic of the tools and techniques for preserving the library documents in the present situation. I don't want to say in detail because my young friends Abul, Onindita, and principal sir have stated about the objectives of this webinar. But a little bit I want to say that to serve the documents to the users is the basic philosophy of the library. But before that, some work is needed. So, so procurement of documents, preservation of documents, and the processing of documents are very much essential to fulfill the basic objective, that is to serve the users. So, at that time, when the in the pandemic situation, the colleges and the and other academic institutions are suffering a serious trouble because they are forced to shut the doors. But some institutions are intending to reopen the colleges or academic institutions. At the time, there is a need for online services. But in our country, mainly in the third world countries, where the socio-economic condition is very poor and the infrastructure also as well are not at a very high level, then there is a need for physical existence of the documents. So, we have to think about the as well as the physical documents and the digital documents. So in that situation, how the libraries of their academic institutions or other libraries will preserve, will manage the library documents, these are the issues. And I think my speakers friends are aware about that or those perspective. They will be speaking on their own from the different perspective, that is from the different library perspective also. So my speech I am not it cannot be too much longer. I don't waste much time. So my I want to close my speech at the present. I want to invite Professor Swapna Banerjee, the keynote speaker of this webinar, to deliver her lecture. Please, Dr. Swapna Banerjee.
Thank you very much. First of all, a very good morning to all of you. And I would at first like to convey my thanks to the principal, Dr. Shubhankar Tripathi of Sarsuna College, for providing us the platform for organizing this webinar. I would like to pay my thanks to Professor Biplab Chakraborty, who is the director of this webinar and who is very innovative in his ideas in organizing this and in selecting this topic, very important topic, and who has an experience of research guidance also on this topic. I am very much thankful to Sheikh Abdul Salam, Dr. Sheikh Abdul Salam and Anindita Basu. And I'm very much happy that all of them are our students. This is a very nice thing to know that all of them are our students from Calcutta University. I'm very proud that they are organizing this. I'm very much also thankful to my fellow speakers also. Incidentally, Dr. Shuchishmita Mujumdar, Dr. Sanjukta Mitro, they have worked on preservation. Their research topic was on preservation. They are also from our university, and also my long-time friend, Dr. Abira Chakraborty, who is also an expert in preservation. So this, I think this webinar is going to be a galaxy of people expertising on this very important topic. And I am very much thankful to the organizers for selecting this very, very important topic. Now, let us start this topic. Preservation. When we hear of this word preservation, some weird feeling comes in our mind. At least up to the 2000s, year 2000, some what type of feeling that we are in the midst of old newspapers, old torn papers, and rags and cotton cloths and like this. It is a what you call a rubbish type of thing. We are amidst all this preservation. What is it? It is nothing. It is a most what you say, negligent piece of study, preservation. We had a feeling, but nowadays, slowly and slowly, preservation has come into being. Preservation and conservation and restoration has gained immense importance nowadays. I think that I feel like it is like a magician, that the word preservation, that like a magician, he touches his wand, magical wand, and he turns an old thing into a new. It gives a life to an old thing. Preservation is like this only, giving a life to a dead thing, to an old thing, making it new. So it has a tremendous impact that way. So it is a golden touch. The golden touch of the magician is the work of a librarian. That is the word preservation, or the essence of preservation. Now, a very important thing to understand for us librarians, that is, this preservation is one thing in library science which is not only restricted to library science. This is one area which is the area where experts from history, experts from archival science, experts from museology, experts from chemistry work together. It is an interdisciplinary subject where there is ample scope of all of us to work together, and it is a very interesting thing. And it is like the olden days we had alchemists. It is like that, mixing of many things to give a thing or give a document a new life. So that means that preservation has a very, very deep meaning. It is a very, very deep meaning. As for my experience, I would share a little bit of my experience when I joined as a lecturer long back in the university. That time, preservation was only a unit one in BLIS course. A very only 2 or 3 topics we had to take, we had to study, or we had to take. But as my senior teachers advised me when I chose the special paper to teach them preservation, my senior teachers advised me that this is the topic which will stay as long as the libraries will stay. Be it technology driven, be it manual driven, whatever it is, this topic or this fact, this idea of preservation will stay as long as libraries will stay, as long as library science will stay. So preservation has no end. It is an end to itself. It has no end. So that's why preservation, I think that their ideas or their advices have become so much great words that nowadays we come, and I have seen in my long teaching years that from manual preservation to technological preservation to digital preservation, the word preservation or the essence of preservation has continued from the olden times till today, and it will continue in the future also. we are often saying the thing that preservation is access and access is preservation. This is a very, very important word or terminology, that preservation means you have access to books. If the books are not properly preserved or not properly maintained, you cannot access the books. And access is preservation. That means if you want to access the books, you have to preserve it. So both are intertwined. Both these terms are very much intertwined, and you cannot exclude one from other. If you want to have access to the books, you must preserve the books. If we go to preservation, we cannot ignore Dr. S.R. Ranganathan. His 5 laws are very much applicable, as in other cases, as in other areas of library and information science. His 5 laws are very much applicable in case of preservation also. So if we say books are for use, first law, we know for the books to be used, for the books to be maintained, for the books to be properly utilized, for the books to be given to the users, given to the students, given to the readers, we need the books to be preserved. That is the main essence of the first law. The second law says that every reader is her book. So for the every reader to get his or her book, that means you have to have the book in a good condition, in a very good condition. Every book, its reader also, the third law also, the same thing, that is the book must find its way to the reader if it is preserved properly. Save the time of the reader, fourth law, that is the digital preservation, we say. Now we get everything in a nutshell, everything in a digitized format. Every rare amount book, every old book we get in a digitized format. We are saving the time of the reader. And of course, the fifth law, library is a growing organism. That is, as we grow, as the library grows, as the resources grows, books are coming and they need to be preserved. Preservation means, the fifth law, that means many things. It is not only preservation. Preservation has another fact, that is relegation and weeding out also. So the fifth law is means on one hand preservation, and one hand relegation and weeding out. So unless you relegate or unless you weed out often, then also preservation cannot be successful. Now the main things, that is we know that the library is a storehouse of many things, that is from the old clay tablets to stones to parchment to vellum to leather to paper to non-book materials like audios, videos, microphones, manuscripts, microfiches, magnetic medium, digital medium, now, and to the most current one, web pages, websites. We have to preserve everything item needs to be preserved, but the tools and the techniques of preservation of each and every item varies enormously, and varies in different countries in a different way also. So what will be applicable to a clay tablet, or what will be applicable to a paper based product, is not always applicable to the preservation of web pages or the websites. So each has its own technique, each has its own tools, each has its own method of preserving, of the way you be restored or preservation. And preservation doesn't mean that we are preserving only the things contained in a library, inside the things contained inside the library. Preservation also means preservation of the library building. That is also a very important thing which we often ignore. That is, we often see only the internal things or the library materials, but the building where it is housed are often very much neglected. So unless we get rid of termites, unless we have a very good fire exhaust system, unless we have a very good electric system, unless we have a very good roof treatment system in the library, preservation is of no use. So vis-a-vis these all these things, we have to see of the preserving the library buildings also. And preservation also means security. That is, we have to be very sure, or we have to be very cautious of the library security system also. So preservation to the layman may mean that it is only preserving the library materials, but to an expert, preservation will mean all these accessories, all these things also. That means, as a librarian, the managerial qualities of a librarian is focused very much. That is, a librarian has to be a very good manager, and one very important essence of this managerial quality is he or she must know how to preserve or conserve his documents. And this is very much real or very much important in a tropical country like India, where you have a variety of temperature fluctuation. What you preserve, the way you preserve manuscripts in Chennai, the same way is not applicable in Darjeeling. So the cold climate, the hot climate, these are very important factors in preserving, and these are very problematic also factors in preserving the things in a library. So if you see in the south, suppose in the Tanjore Saraswati Mahal library, see the manuscripts, they preserve it with the traditional way, with the traditional citronella oil, with the traditional neem oil. But if you go and see the monasteries of Kalimpong, monasteries of Darjeeling, monasteries of Sikkim, if you go and see the manuscripts lying there years after years, I have visited myself and saw the manuscripts myself, and I felt astonished and also awe-stricken that they didn't use a single any natural things, artificial things, anything they didn't use. Those manuscripts are just kept there, and it is so nicely preserved. So, and they're opening the almiras, the doors of those almiras where the manuscripts are kept only once or twice in a year. So when we asked the monks that how it is that these manuscripts are so nicely preserved without any treatment, and that is the reason they said is that the temperature, that is, there is very less fluctuation of temperature in those hilly or cold regions, and therefore it is very much possible that those manuscripts or those treasures can be kept so nicely. So we see that in a tropical country like India, there is so much difference in the pattern of preservation of various things. Now, preservation, we know that there are two things, that is prevention and curation. Of course, as an teacher of preservation, as a librarian, as an archivist, we would always prefer preventive measures. That is, we would not wait until that things are got damaged and then to treat it. It is better to be, prevention is better than cure. To take that idea, prevention of better is better than cure. So for prevention, we have many tools and techniques, but the main thing is that the user education. I feel user education is very much important. So here my librarian friends are there here, and many librarian friends are hearing also this webinar. And the first thing I would urge you that when a user comes to the library, first we should show him or her, help him or her in showing how to handle the books. Most of the users, they don't know how to handle the books. They just keep the pages open. They just keep the downward side up in the shelves. They just mutilate the pages. They just fold the pages. They just go in a photocopying machine. They just put the books in a haphazard way, in whatever way they can. So training the users to handle the book is the first step of preservation. So if you handle, or if we handle the books properly, then I think half of the work is done. That is, our load is very much reduced. We will be not in trouble. So handling of books is a very much important thing. Then of course in the preventive measures, we have control of temperature, control of humidity, control of moisture, AC, then control of dust, control ventilation, etc. Even in this pandemic period, what the main thing is that what comes in our mind, what we see in the various websites, in the various webinars, that is, I found, that is good housekeeping. That is the main thing in this pandemic period also, that how we preserve the book. So prevention of contamination of virus, COVID-19 virus, or prevention is the best way to the effective means of preservation. Of course, in conservation treatment, we have a lot of experts today. They will speak on that. I'm not going to the details, just lamination, deacidification, vacuum drying, and encapsulation, binding, repair, mending, fumigation. A lot of things are there. They are experts there in this thing. So I'm not going to the details of that. And the second thing is that method of storing. The method of storing is another very, very important part or important issue in preservation. How you store the books, how you keep the books in the shelves. Maybe we find that it is a very negligible thing. It is a very, 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 what you say, it's nothing to do. We can just store it in any type of box. Now, no, in foreign countries, this is the main thing they look at, that how you store, how you handle. That is, we must store it in an acid-free box, or the boxes which will not get damaged soon. So methods of storing of manuscript, methods of storing of archival materials, methods of storing of odd-sized books, methods of storing of various types of books is a very, very important thing in preservation. We need to know two things: acid-free enclosures and acid-free and lignin-free board. These are very two things that we must keep in mind when storing those things. We have to know three main things, that is archival quality, acid-free, and alkaline buffer. These three items are very, very important in talking in preservation. And other three important issues in preserving is that usability, longevity, and durability. These three things are very important when we talk of any issues on preservation. Now, when we preserve any material, we preserve, especially in case of books, we are preserving three things. That is, we are preserving the physical book, physical material, we are preserving the ink there, and we are preserving the information. So these three things need to be preserved in three different ways. The physical media, that is the boards, the threads, all these, the end papers, all these things need to be preserved by various techniques. The information can be preserved by digitization. We know digital methods, there are various ways to preserve it, and also the ink can be preserved in various ways. So the three items in a book has to be preserved in three different ways. And when we go to a conservation, another very important part of preservation, that is conservation, that is when we repair or when we mend anything, then there are some principles of conservation. And the first important principle of conservation is harmlessness. That is, it shouldn't cause any harm to the material. That is a very important thing. That just like the medical practitioners or the doctors nowadays give painless operation, they try to relieve the pain of the patient. Same way, they shouldn't cause any harm to the books. Actually, the books or the material should be treated like a newborn baby. Like a newborn baby, we treat him or her in the finest, comfortable way as possible. So the comfort will be given in such a manner to the books or the materials. Another thing is the durability or the protection. That is, the books or the materials must be protected as much as possible. And the third is reversibility. That is, it must be reversible, that it shouldn't be something which is temporary, which will open. So a motto goes in preservation, a saying goes in preservation is that do not do anything which you cannot do. This motto is a very important part in preservation. Now, everybody will tell about the traditional or the new treatments or the very much important treatments. And I will go to a very, very new treatment in preservation. I will speak a few words on that. That is, a recent treatment on preservation is the laser treatment. This is the most important treatment, most not important, I would say important, and also, of course, very, very current treatment, that is laser cleaning of books. By this laser cleaning of books, the contamination can be removed without any deterioration or without damage to the paper. This experiment by laser treatment is going on worldwide, and we are yet to see, I think we will see, of course, we are sure to see some benefits of this laser treatment. And in this type of treatment, we can scan the samples by optical and scanning electron microscope, and we can see the change in the fiber strength or in change in the fiber structure of the paper of the samples. And we can also notice that if any mechanical damage to the paper has occurred. Therefore, it is very much clear and transparent to us that whether the paper in combating the deterioration, whether the paper has been damaged or not. So laser cleaning of soiled paper are very much important nowadays. Sensitive samples like parchment and need laser parameter with less energy density. That is, this field is developing very much. This is something I thought I should say, that this is a new thing and it has got very much advantages. So this is the main thing. And regarding the pandemic situation, that is how to sanitize the books in the pandemic situation. Actually, what happened is that we didn't have any history of such pandemic situation earlier. When I scanned the literature, I was going through the literature of this history of pandemic situation on how to sanitize books. I found that there was no history, means that way, that what can we do to sanitize the books here. In the 1907, there was a great book scare in Omaha Public Library in September 12, 1895. Jessie Allen of Nebraska, she was a librarian. She died of tuberculosis. But since she was a librarian, people thought that the disease has been transmitted through the books, and so what happened, there was a negative wave spreading through the country. And what happened is that for a long time there was an embargo on lending out of books, on issue of books, on giving it, because they thought that books is the most important carrier. Apart from this great book scare, we couldn't find any such type of relevant literature as to what to do in case of pandemic. In that time, what happened, that in UK, a law also came out that no books will be circulated or no books will be given to the public, because books will carry diseases like TB, or with the pathogens of the diseases like TB, or you can say the yellow scarlet fever, smallpox, etc. After a long time, this continued for a long time, and after a very long time, after 10 years, 5 or 10 years, this negative wave went away, and slowly people returned to normal. So what happened, that here, when the pandemic first started, people were very much at a confusion. Librarians were at a confusion that what to do, how to sanitize books, what we have to do. So we saw the dictum given by ALA, given by Library of Congress, given by our this National Archives. Everybody, what dictum they gave, what orders they gave, and I found out that the main thing is that the virus doesn't stay on the books for a long time. This is a safety for us, that it cannot stay for the paper or cardboard for a long time. So it's the best way to keep the books in isolation. So we have to choose between two things. Either we'll isolate the books or we will disinfect the books. So the best way to keep the books is for 24 hours, 72 hours isolation, prophylaxis, what we call it, and let the virus go away that way. And then the books are ready for use. But if somebody wants to disinfect the books also, somebody wants to disinfect the books also, then he or she may use the swipes, and never they should disinfect with Lysol, or never they should disinfect with any type of alcohol or bleaching, because it will give a very deleterious effect to the books. Some people in the foreign countries are using UV rays also to sanitize the books, but that is also not much feasible, because that will also have some negative effect. So time or prophylaxis is the best factor, that you keep the books in quarantine for some days. Like patients, you keep the books which have been lent out and which have been returned in this during this time for some time. Let the virus at least for 24 to 72 hours, and then again they are ready for circulation. But preservation means not only the disinfecting the books, we need to disinfect our tabletops, our machines, our materials, our shelves, everything. And that we know we are doing very well. The librarians have started doing. This is the main things, how to sanitize the books during the pandemic. So I think because all of the other speakers are waiting to give their address, so I think I could end up by saying words from taken from Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa's words, that not all of us can do great things, but we can do small things with great love. So I think for preservation, we should follow these words, that we can preserve the materials in our library with great love, be it a small library, be it a big library, our institutional library. We must preserve the books or preserve the materials with great care and great love. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam, Dr. Shukla Banerjee. Thank you. You have told a number of issues from the keynote, your keynote speaking. Actually, from the definition, nature and importance of an interdisciplinary nature of the preservation to implication of 5 laws and the factorial issues of the documents for preservation in the case of the building design, equipments and other materials to be initiated in the library, security measures, temperature issues, all these issues you have told very nicely. You have given the example of the Tanjore cases to Kalimpong monastery's case, Tanjore Saraswati Mahal Library to Kalimpong's different monasterial issues. So at the time, you have covered the user studies and their need for documents, preservation and conservation of documents in the light of lamination, binding, temperature, and all these issues will be discussed later. You have told that and methods of storing of different types of documents and different issues of preserving the documents, the conservation, and in such cases the laser treatment you have also mentioned. So there are in this pandemic situation, there are different practices of sanitization that are going on. So you have mentioned a number of examples such what are going on in the real life in the present context. So I think a number of issues you have covered from the keynote key speech. So the participants will be very much beneficial for your informative discussion. Now I want to invite the speaker, Dr. Abida Chakraborty, librarian of Lady Devon College, to deliver a speech. Dr. Abida Chakraborty, please.
I am Dr. Abida Chakraborty, librarian, Lady Devon College, Kolkata. First, I want to express my heartfelt thanks to members of the organizing committee, principal Sarsuna College, participants, all speakers, and special thanks to Dr. Biplab Chakraborty, my teacher, who invited me to deliver the speech in this webinar. Now, my topic is, I can share, uh, is it visible? Is it visible? PowerPoint
Yes.
is
No,
visible,
not visible.
No, you are visible, but not slides are
but
visible.
not visible.
No slide.
Uh, no slide. Now it is visible.
No.
It is not visible. So leave it. Now I want to say, library plays a significant role in society by delivering various sources of information to user community through various modes. This is true for every library, for any type of library. It may be academic, technical, or public. In present situation, we are passing through a very crucial stage. A global crisis has evolved due to COVID-19 pandemic. All educational institutions are closed from the end of March to till date. We have no idea when the institutions will open and when the institution will become normal. It is a big question whether can we return to formal stage at all. There is no clear-cut answer till now. It is most probably the answer is no. So there will be a paradigm shift in the organization, functioning, and service patterns of academic libraries. Instead of returning to normal, libraries will be adopting a new normal mode of functioning, and we shall have to accept this new normal situation. So, my topic is college library management in present situation with special reference to preservative measures of library materials. During lockdown period, we, the librarians of Lady Brabourne College, have tried to serve LBC community through online mode by delivering links of various online resources through WhatsApp, Facebook, email, and SMS media. We know the purpose of library is to preserve and transmit the recorded knowledge to user community. We know that library service is an essential service. We cannot stop this service by no means. So we have to render library services in this situation. But we should always remember the words safety first. In this new situation, library personnel have to be very cautious to do library works. They have to remember that the situation is totally changed now and they will not render library services as they used to do. They have to take some precautionary measures in this regard. What are the measures? Library staff should use gloves at all times while handling incoming material. While having gloves, they should not touch their faces. They have to wash their hands after removing gloves. They have to continue practicing to maintain physical distancing when working with others. All staff should put on mask while working in the library. In post-COVID-19 period, when the colleges will reopen, we shall have to reopen the library also. To tackle this situation, we have to change the library management patterns in some areas. What are the areas? Library acquisition, library management and services, and preservative measures. Now, first area is library acquisition. In present situation, the user demand of print collections will be diminished to some extent. We can foresee it. Today, situation demands e-everything and document digitization. In coming days, we have to spend more money and time to develop electronic collections. Librarians are going to face a big challenge for budget cut, which in any way they always face every year. So they have to develop new strategies to tackle this situation. Secondly, we have to change our purchase policy also. We have to focus more on purchase of more e-documents than print documents, which every library face that teachers are not eager to purchase e-documents. They are very eager to purchase print documents in college library. We have seen it. Librarians have to negotiate with publishers and booksellers to purchase e-documents. And we have to try to purchase e-documents which are cheaply available in the market due to fund crunch. Library collections should be more accessible to individuals. For this, new access models will also need to be developed. We can try to digitize selective collections of the library materials to render library services in present situation. If college authority provides proper infrastructure. Now, e-version of some textbooks of undergraduate level and postgraduate level have already reached in the market. So we have to try to purchase this e-version of the textbooks. Digitization itself is considered to be a mode of preservation of paper documents. It has been noticed that in this COVID-19 pandemic situation, this situation gives an opportunity to librarians to digitize their collections under compulsion. The second area which is need to be changed is for library management and services. When colleges will reopen, we have to reopen library services under certain restrictive operational procedures. What are the procedures to be followed? We have to establish a quarantine area for returned materials, and all staff should know where it is located to avoid contact. We have to arrange carts to keep the returned materials into them and move the carts to the identified quarantine area. After items have been on the cart for a minimum of 72 hours, these items should be fumigated in proper way and then those items can be sold as normal. Secondly, we already said library staff should put on gloves while handling materials always. After removing gloves, they have to wash their hands promptly. Books should be retrieved only through book drop box, avoiding enter into the library premium. But Most of the colleges have no facility to return books on book drop box because they are not under RFID management system. So they have to arrange cards for returning materials essential. Acha, then we have to arrange sanitizer with sprayer machine which will be operated by foot operated machine, avoiding enter into the library premises. And sanitizer should be arranged at the entry point of the library. Users and staff members will not be allowed into the library without mask. Seating arrangement within the library will be maintained on complying social distancing guidelines. That means the seating capacity of the library will be less than half of the previous seating capacity. The number of visitors allowed in the library at a time will be restricted. In real situation, in reality, most of the college libraries have no infrastructure to provide high quality customer service. So we have to look to give more self service and touchless interaction with our users. For example, self checkout, scanning of required documents, and delivering information through online mode. Our main focus should be on online support. Today's online articles can be imported from other institutions through interlibrary loan. We have to keep in mind that since users will not visit us as much as they used to, we have to take our services to them. Next area is preservation techniques or preservative measures. We know the duty of every librarian is to preserve the library documents in better condition for future use. We can divide the total conservation work in three phases. One, preventive conservation, then curative conservation, then restorative conservation. Preventive conservation can be applied on both damaged and undamaged materials. Curative conservation can be applied to arrest the deterioration of documents by applying chemical and non-chemical method. And restorative conservation, in this process, some techniques can be applied to bring back the affected documents in original condition as far as possible. How can we follow it? To keep safe the library documents from deterioration, we have to control some deteriorating factors, that is climatic factors, radiant factors, accidental factors, environmental pollutions, biological enemies, etc. To control this temperature, basically we are living in humid climate, tropical country. So we face fluctuation in temperature throughout the year. So we have to control mainly temperature, humidity, and humidity. To control these, we have the most effective ways to install air conditioner in library and should run this air conditioner machine 24 hours. But this is not the practical solution for every college library. They can follow some measures by which they can control this. To control temperature, wet costs can be used with electrical fans, shade trees may be planted outside the library, and exhaust fans are essential for stack rooms. To control relative humidity, silica gel or calcium chloride can be used to absorb or release moisture into the environment to maintain the optimum level of relative humidity. To control radiant factors, mainly light, glass panels may be used to cut off UV rays. Curtains should be used because this is not so much expensive. To control accidental factors, that means fire, some measures should be taken up. The potential sources of fire, which is electrical wiring, power connection, etc., should be checked regularly. The fire extinguishers should be checked and refilled regularly. And formal training and regular training to operate these extinguishers are also very necessary. Otherwise, when the disaster comes, they will not work properly. Automatic fire alarming systems should be installed in every college, and smoking should be strictly banned in the library. Now, I am not go in detailing preservation techniques which we follow regularly. Actually, in post-COVID-19 situation, when the colleges will reopen, we have to face some new scenario in the library. Actually, there is very little research on the effects of sterilization and sanitization measures on the condition of the library materials. There are no specific preservation techniques which can be applied exclusively to protect library materials from COVID-19 virus. The most protective way is to keep library materials, those are suspected to be contaminated with COVID-19 virus, is in isolation for at least 7 to 14 days. This is recommended to protect people's health by minimizing the possibility of transmission via contaminated surfaces. This is fact that environmental conditions affect the duration of infectivity of viruses on a surface. Temperature of 60 degrees Celsius and above and relative humidity, moderate relative humidity, that is 40 to 60%, and high relative humidity, that is 80%, can shorten viral persistence. In general, neutral pH prolongs viral persistence, and while the acid and basic regions shorten viral persistence. Ozone can destroy virus activity. Hand washing and hand sanitizing are highly recommended measures to reduce the transfer of COVID-19 virus. Hard surfaces are the easiest surfaces on which the virus can persist and for the longest period and with the highest transfer concentration to skin. The ways to protect library materials from any kind of deterioration, including COVID-19 virus, are cleaning, disinfecting, and sanitizing. Now, first, the process is cleaning. This is a general procedure to reduce dust, dirt, design, including viral and bacterial loads on surfaces, which makes subsequent disinfection more effective. Heavily touched surfaces needs regular cleaning and disinfecting essential. The cleaning process can be followed in three ways: dry cleaning, wet cleaning, and vacuum cleaning. In dry cleaning method can be applied for low touch areas, and wet cleaning method can remove surface grime and can decrease transmission risks by reducing the overall viral load on surfaces. Aqueous cleaning surfactants can be safely used to disinfect library materials. Vacuum cleaning method can be applied in high touch areas. Every library now can purchase vacuum cleaner for their libraries. Cleaning with surfactants like soaps, detergents is the effective way which every library can apply on library racks, stacks, table, chairs, etc. Now the second process is disinfecting. After cleaning, we can apply disinfecting method for complete cure. We can apply disinfecting solution that that is, alcohols, oxidizing agents, acids, bases, etc., which kills or deactivates any pathogens that remain after cleaning. Disinfecting solutions which contain alcohol or other chemicals can be used for this purpose. But these applications are not recommended for old, rare, and heritage materials. 70% alcohol might be appropriate for metal surfaces, but it should be kept in mind that inappropriate use of disinfecting solution can cause permanent damage to library materials or may fail to disinfect properly. We can allow laser cleaning for to keep library materials safe for any infection. But this is a costly procedure which every college library cannot follow. Third process is sanitizing. This is the most commonly used method to reduce pathogens on surface. We can apply proper sanitization method on library stacks, counters, chairs, tables, and other hard surfaces periodically if fund permits by third party also. But the third party cannot apply sanitization method on library books, paper documents, and old and rare materials. This sanitization method to be applied for return library paper documents which college library actually receives after or reopening of college library is isolation and fumigation. After passing quarantine period, returned library documents should be fumigated before shelving using para-chlorobenzene methanol for 21 days. After fumigation, these documents can be safely circulated. Today, most of the college libraries have fumigation chamber, so they can easily follow this procedure. Using the procedure, which are the easiest procedures? If I summarize my preservative measures after post COVID-19, we can follow to keep materials quarantine period, that is isolation for 7 to 14 days, and then we have to fumigate these materials, and then we can use these materials as usual. Now I conclude by saying that it is very difficult for library professionals to render proper library services in the manner they served in pre-COVID-19 period. But we have to take the various measures which I already discussed for rendering proper services as far as possible, maintaining proper guidelines instructed by ICMR. Hope we will overcome the worst pandemic situation soon. We have to look forward and perform our duties efficiently. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Abira Chakraborty. Actually, her speak is mainly based on the function of academic libraries from the point of view of COVID-19. So she has discussed from transformation from normal to new normal situation, and Dr. Abira has tried to speak on her own experience in her college library, and she has discussed mainly the library services from tradition to online in the current situation, and the preservation of documents, how that could be done from, and different measures could be taken. So during the COVID-19 period, the different preventive measures what are to be taken, and the exact way of application in the documents for maintenance of the library stock. She has told a number of issues. So thank you, Avira. So next speaker, I do invite Sri Shobhanjit Chatterjee of West Bengal Exceptional Tribunal Librarian. Please, Shobhanjit.
Okay, thank you, sir. Let me share my screen first. So, is it visible? Okay. So my PPT is visible.
No, share it.
Okay, I'm
Open the
trying to
PPT.
share.
Open the PPT. Please open the PPT.
Okay, just open. Uh,
Now it is okay. Carry on.
so it's open.
Yes,
Yes,
carry on.
yes.
Okay, okay, okay. So first of all, I'd like to convey my thanks to my teacher, uh, uh, Dr. Biplab Chakraborty, who is the professor of Department of Library and Information Science, University of Calcutta. And I'd like to thank Dr. Shubhankar Tripathi, patron of this webinar, who is the principal of Sarsuna College. And again, my teacher, I would like to thank my teacher, Dr. Shopna Banerjee. She is presently Dean of Faculty Council in Education, Journalism and Mass Communication and Library and Information Science. And he is a professor. She is a professor of Library and Information Science. And I would like to thank the joint conveners, Srimati Anandita Basu, librarian of Sarsuna College, and Dr. Sheikh Abul Salam, librarian of Shibpur Dinabandhu Institution, and all my fellow speakers and all the participants. Okay, so presently I am working as a librarian of West Bengal Taxation Tribunal. But before joining this job, I was in National Library. So I'd like to share a few of my experience during my National Library days. So how National Library can preserve their the huge documents, huge cultural heritage. So I'd like to share these of my experience. Okay, so as all of you know that in a large library like National Library of India, they have varieties of cellulosic materials and which is easily decomposable and vulnerable to deteriorate. So the deterioration of cellulosic materials obeys basically the law of thermodynamics, which states the rate of reaction on paper is directly proportional with temperature and inversely proportional to humidity. So the paper, manuscripts, palm leaves, maps, paintings on papers or cloths, parchment, vellum are all cellulosic materials are prone to decay very fast and getting easy and getting unfit to use. So if proper care handling is not done, so it's become unfit to use. So the deterioration is more in our country, especially as all of you know that we are living in a tropical country. So national libraries also include this country. So due to the hazardous climate and excessive ravage of insects, so this material can last longer period if properly maintained. So only if you maintain a good climate, good humidity, so then only this documents it's properly stored or it's longer. So with a view to making out the process of preservation, it is necessary to consider why and how does the library materials deteriorate. So what are the various factors of deteriorations? When this concept is clear, only then remedial actions can be taken. So as already Madam Shopna Madam and Abiradi has already told lots of measures. So so uh, I would like to just share the journey of National Library. So from this you can get an idea. So how much heritage documents they have. So after that they just amalgamated with this Calcutta Public Library with Imperial Library in 1891, and it's open in the to the public in 1903. And finally in the year 1948, after the independence of India, this National Imperial Library became National Library of India, and finally it's open to the public in the year 1953 and all of you know that then Education Minister was Maulana Abul Kalam Azad. He has inaugurated this library. So what are the source of collection of the National Library? So this is important to, as all of you know that National Library is basically a repository library. So National Library is a permanent repository of all the reading and information materials produced in India, all the printed materials authored by Indian wherever published and in whichever language, and all the printed materials concerning India but authored by foreigners wherever published and whichever language. So as all of you know that we have Delivery of Books and Newspaper Act 1954. Through this act, all the publishers, whatever published in India, they have to submit one copy of the documents to National Library. And another source is another source of documents of National Library is the gift collection. So any type of significant gifts, if anybody wants to give to the National Library, so National Library assess those documents, how much significant of these documents, and they receive these documents also. So and another is some documents we are National Library are purchasing also, recommended by the selection committee of this library. And we have to know the scale of operation. So as all of we know that National Library presently have over 16 million books, 1.5 million periodicals, 905 title newspapers, 88,000, more than 88,000 maps, and more or less 300 manuscripts. So National Library has its possession of these documents, a sizable proportion of these which are rare books. So it is a stock over which grows almost entirely as a result of DB Act and gift of exchange policy as a rate of 1 million per annum. So our measurement of likely preservation problems content within these stocks suggests that 5 to 10% need some sort of preservation treatment, especially to those collections which NLI has got innately from Calcutta Public Library and after that from Imperial Library. Okay, so the whole work executed by this whole preservation work as well as conservation was executed by three divisions of the National Library. So one is laboratory divisions, and another is preservation divisions. They calling these divisions binding divisions, and another is lithography division. So what are the activities of those three divisions? So the major activities of these divisions. So first of all, laboratory division. So major activities of this division is to preserve the record of cultural heritage by applying modern scientific methods. This division undertake chemical treatments, all the chemical treatments which are required for the repairing and restoration of rare and brittle and infected books and other materials by controlling insects and many biological agents that are destructive of the library materials by employing different policies like deacidifications, delaminations, laminations, fungicide treatment, fungicide stain treatment, and encapsulations. The laboratory carries out the conservation work. In addition, the division imparts some training and organized training workshop periodically for their internal staff as well as for outsiders also. So when I was in National Library, I have also conducted lots of training and workshop programs. So lots of research scholars from different places of India, they have joined these workshops also. And another division is preservation division. So these divisions basically deals the physical conservation of reading materials, which are books, periodicals, maps, manuscripts. This library through the process of binding and repairs, reinforcing, mounting, and gold tooling. These are these are the main function of these divisions. So and another division is lithography division. So if we divide the whole preservation process into three parts, one is as all of you know that one is preventive preservation, another is restorative preservations, and another and finally it is duplicative preservation. So those documents are not possible to preserve physically. So we go for these documents for lithography purposes or for digitization purposes. So these lithography divisions basically concerned with microfilming of rare and valuable documents of the library with a view to preserve them for posterity, and also making positive copies of the negatives for consulting them with microfilm readers. These divisions also prepare microfilm photocopies of research materials available in the library and supplies them to the scholars and an institution at cost. After the procurement of the state-of-art hybrid camera, both microfilming and digitizations can be done through a single exposure. Okay. Just this is the basically the rare collection of the National Library. So as we know that the National Library has started started his journey open in the year 1954. 53 and it's collect is the rare documents inherited from Imperial Library as well as from Calcutta Public Library. So it has huge collections of monographs, periodicals, paper manuscripts, correspondence of diaries, palm leaves manuscripts, Tibetan xylographs, Arabic manuscripts, Persian manuscripts. It has a huge collection of the manuscript of Jodhnath Sarkar and Imambara collections, and National Library presently posing the they have the manuscript of Jibanananda Das, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Rabindranath Tagore. So these are available in National Library archives. So as Madam also told that the first step of the preservation is preventive measures. So how to care the handle. So when I was in National Library, whatever documents come to me, I have received for preservation purpose. So I have discovered that the most of the reason for damage these documents is wrong handling. So you first of all you know how to handle properly. Okay, so taking care when handling any collections items, especially functional items like books with flexing parts, is one of the more effective, cost efficient, and easily achieved preservation measures. Take proper care when handling books by having clean hands and clean area to use the documents. So whenever you use the documents, so you have to clean your hand, keeping food and drinks away. So don't enter with foods into the stack area. So removing the books from the shelves by gripping on both sides. So don't tagging the documents to the spine on the top. So these are the facts, and not forcing a books to lie open 180 degrees. Okay, for reprography purpose, when xeroxing the documents, we are lying open in 180 degrees. This is not the way to preserve the documents. And not using paper clips and dog ears. Sometimes when we are reading, we just bend the documents. So it's what happens. So it just break the cellulosic structure of the documents. Okay, so don't insert any type of acidic bookmarks into the books, and not using rubber bands and cell adhesive tape, any kind of leather dressing. So don't use or any kind of glue also. So don't use this into the books. Okay, so for preventive measures, we need proper storage also. So good storage significantly prolong the usability of the library documents, as we know that. We have to maintain a cool temperature. Definitely it's below the room temperature, and relatively dry. So it's humidity also, you have to reduce its humidity also, less than 35%, and clean the documents and stable environment. So and avoid attics and basements. So both are not usable for if your library have multi-storage facility. So don't store your documents as on attics or as basements. So basements have the damp and on attics also are much more temperature. So don't avoid it, and just keep your documents in middle of the in any middle stairs. Secondly is minimum exposure to any kind of light. It may be sunlight, or in maybe any fluorescent light. Distance from radiators and vents, and regular dusting and housekeepings. So shelving books and similar size together. So these are the storage factors, so which already discussed by just Abhijadi. So I'm just touching first. And how we monitoring, these are the monitoring tools. So for monitoring the relative humidity and temperature, so you can use these tools. These are thermometers, humidity indicators, strips, battery operated cyclometer. So these are the availability. These are depends on the availability of your library fund of your library. So whatever fund you have, so according to this and according to your need, you can install this kind of humidity and relative humidity monitoring equipments. How we protect from light. So as all of you know that light is another enemy for documents. So light is a very common cause for damage to collections. Many materials are particularly sensitive to light: paper, cloths, leather, photographs, and media. So all are all are fading. So there may be damage to the physical and chemical structure of materials. So light and ultraviolet radiation provides energy to fuel the chemical reactions then that lead to deterioration, and while UV is blamed for most of this damage, visible light is also problematic. So intensity and long exposure time can lead to fading or changing colors in dyes and colorants. Ultraviolet radiation will lead to the weaken the documents also. So you need to protect from these lights. So how can you control these lights? So this is the main questions now. So how can you control these lights? So in storage area, so strategies to control the damage caused by light and UV radiations includes putting light sensitive items into the boxes, keeping the lights off when no one is retrieving materials, or installing motion sensors on the lights. So filtering tuber fluorescent lights. So as these are already discussed by Abhirati, so I'm not going into this. So these are the protection measures from light. And now we know that in tropical country like India, so there is a huge problems of mold. So it's basically a fungus. So like NLI for most institution in India, mold is a familiar problem. On a small scale, moldy books here and there, and even unimaginable on a large scale, or a collection wide outbreak of active mold. So many institutions have never experienced an active mold outbreak on the collections wide level. So dealing with such an outbreak can be overwhelming at first, but there are basic and tested methods to help the institutions recover this mold. So actually, for treatment this mold, we have to know that what is mold. So mold is basically a generic terms of specific family of fungi. So microorganism that depends on other organism for substances. There are over 1 million known species of fungi. Because of the great variety of species, patterns of growth and activity in a particular situation can be unpredictable. Nevertheless, some broad generalization of molds behavior are still possible. So now what are the principles of prevention from this mold? So we cannot and should not attempt to eliminate all of them. So they exist in every room, on every objects in a collections, and on every person entering in the building. The only dependable prevention strategies are keep the humidity and temperature moderate and steady so the spores remain dormant. Temperature must in below 70 degree Fahrenheit, and below and relative humidity must be in below 60%, and monitor to ensure the space is remaining within safe levels. So maintaining good air circulations in collection storage area, and monitoring for stagnant pockets within a space. Do not store collections in known damp spaces or those areas prone to leaks or floods. So keep areas where collections are stored and used as clean as possible. Dust and dirt are a source of spores, but active and dormant. So housing collection is protective enclosures whenever possible. Help keep them free of dust. So to also keep dust and spores levels low, keep windows closed. Isolate incoming collections to check for mold. So how to improve the climate? So as all of you know, that climate is the main decisive factors for deteriorating the documents. So how to improve? So first of all, removal of collections from attics, which tend to be hot, or basement, which can be damp. So ensuring window and doors are well sealed against the outdoors with chalk window covering, weather stripping, etc. And creating the storage space segregate by type of materials, any type of materials, improvement of insulations and building seals. So use of a portable air conditioner, humidifier, dehumidifiers, humidifiers. So it is crucial to remember that temperature and RH are intimately related, and for corrections of the one of the factor may be balance of the important factors, that is the generator enough of the code. So installation of central environmental controls is required. So now we coming the restoration of library materials. So those materials already deteriorate. So what can I do for those? So National Library they have a conservation laboratory which is fully equipped. So they take some measures for restoration of their documents, like deacidification. So as all of we know that basically two types of problems we are facing. One is chemical problems and another is problems of from insects. So for those problems, they are practicing deacidification, stain treatment, fungicide treatment, delaminations, encapsulations, laminations, and for insects, they are practicing some chemical methods like fumigations, and some non-chemical methods also like feed drying. And these are the practices by the National Library of India. So what are the treatment techniques? So I have already mentioned that there are two deterioration, the mainly factors which is causes of deterioration. One is chemical factors, and other is deterioration causes by microbiological agents. So what are the treatments of chemical factors? So National Library practicing specifically, they deacidify the paper by aqueous and non-aqueous methods. So deacidification is key point of preservation. It is a curative mechanism, as all of you know, that to stop further hydrolysis of the cellulose structure in paper. So immersion in a solution of calcium carbonates for aqueous deacidification. So they are using calcium carbonate and a calcium bicarbonate, and is highly, this is highly effective in neutralizing the acid and depositing an alkaline buffer to counter further acid attack. So materials with inks and very brittle in condition that are soluble in water can usually dealt by a non-aqueous solution of methanol and barium hydroxide. So inter ratio of 10:1 is a very rare cases, and sometimes they require color fixation or ink fixation with color fixation polymers. And what are the treatments from microbiological agents? So as all of you know that microbiological agents, or better to say insects, are the main cause of deterioration of documents. So they are practicing some conventional pest control are there. So lots of libraries also practicing these methods. So this is basically an integrated preventive pest management program, which will really require to use the conventional pesticides applications in a cultural heritage organizations. If a professional pest control firm is under contract to an institutions, the technical will commonly spray pesticides around the perimeter of various rooms. This approach may be effective for only two types of heavy infections, which is silverfish and book lice. So in NLI presently NLI practicing NLI and practicing fumigations also. So the fumigation with the paradichlorobenzene is one of the conventional fumigants for disinfections of library materials. So this is very easy, and of course this is very easy, and of course long-term process. 50 grams paradichlorobenzene per cubic foot for 21 days is quite effective for disinfecting the library materials. Within the first week, live insects are destroyed, and at the end of second weeks, eggs are hatched out and becomes larvae, which are destroyed within third week. The chemical is kept at the bottom shelves in the tray, which is volatile pass through perforated cells and penetrated into inverted books, which are arranged in the cells. Presently, NLI introduces vacuum fumigation chambers. So as all of you know that National Library has huge collection. So normal fumigations is not through normal fumigation it's not possible to fumigate all the documents. So this is basically a modern techniques disinfection of library materials, which is essential in a tropical country like India. In this process, poisonous fumes enter into an evacuated high pressure proof steel chamber through volatilizer. So and the poisons insert into the body of the insects through sprite and ostium and other opening of the insects, and then the inspiration of the during the inspirations and directly affect the respiration systems of the insects. So non-chemical method, freezing is the most paper based based materials can be frozen to effectively eliminate all stages of insect's life. So commonly a commercial freezer is used for this process. So the materials are placed in a sealed polythene bag and the held at the room temperature. They are then quickly placed in a freezer. Care must be given not to put the freezer tight hours. So and continue to palmate to minus 20 degrees centigrade temperature. The materials are held at the freezer for a period at 72 hours maximum. Okay, so further strengthening after deacidifications or fumigations, for furthering strengthening purpose, they are using laminations, and sometimes they repair the documents which are required for repairing. So national libraries, they have some important holdings on preservations also. So they have some fumigation chambers, they have some fish dryers, encapsulation machines, ordinary fumigation chamber, laminations machines, and beside this they have some equipments for diagnosis purpose. They have aging chamber, brightness tester, incubator, so abrasion testers, etc. These are all for diagnosis purpose. Okay, so now question coming that so how we care these documents in this COVID-19 pandemic situation. So cultural heritage are coping with many challenges as the world deals with the COVID-19 pandemic. While collections are not directly at risk, the pandemic complicates their care. So now the question is, can the COVID-19 virus be transmitted via collection objects or heritage surface? So according to the World Health Organization, people can catch COVID-19 by touching contaminated surface or objects and then touching their eyes, nose or mouth. If an infected person cough or exhales in the directions to the collection objects or handles objects with contaminated hands, the object materials could be contaminated with the virus, which could in theory be transmitted to those who handle the objects afterwards. Since the collection objects tend to handle infrequently and the virus deactivates naturally outside of a human body, the chance of transmission is probably low. The risk may be higher where people work in heritage interiors and use heritage furnishings. So and how long COVID can persist? So normally it says that uh, normally it says that uh, it's better is low. Normally it says that it persists effectively in 6 days, and it's definitely affected after 9 days. So at a room temperature. So sometimes it varies the surface to surface. Persistence does vary with characteristics of surface materials and the presence of other contaminants. Smooth surface like metal and harsh plastics exhibits greater viral persistence and permit more transfer than porous surface like paper and textiles. Okay, so does the environment affect how long the coronavirus persists? So cool temperature, we know that cool temperature prolong the viral persistence, and the warm temperature just result in the loss of virus. So should collection objects or heritage materials be disinfected due to COVID-19? So disinfecting collections objects or heritage materials is not recommended. So desinfection solutions contain alcohol, bleach, or other chemicals that can damage that can damage the maybe surface of the materials, which in heritage collections. So this is these are the problems. So we cannot use the disinfecting materials direct. So it's better cleaning with mild detergent solutions followed by washing would be sufficient for low touch heritage surface. Okay, should hand sanitizer products be used by people handling heritage sanitizer? So obviously, when you are using heritage documents, hand washing and hand sanitizers are highly recommended for reducing the transfer. So these already discussed by Biladi. So can collection workplace be disinfected? Definitely, you can disinfect all the areas, all the tables, all the using equipments through different kind of different kind of chemicals. Okay, so what are the protocols of receiving incoming collections materials, returning library books, artifacts, loans, or new acquisitions? So some of the protocols is you have to, as already I've already told that. So you first main protocol is to you have to quarantine the documents for a week or for 9 days. Okay, so and you have to wearing gloves when you are using the documents or when you are receiving the documents. So and nowadays the one problem is coming, which is the disaster management problem. So after the Amphan, so we are very cautious about the about the flood and any kind of water disaster. Okay, so when it affects, so we need to react within 72 hours. Okay, otherwise it will difficult to salvaging all the documents or recover all the documents easily. So for these purposes, some steps are there. So first steps is bringing the situation under control. So preparing the salvage operations, moving damaged items, and drying and stabilizing these items. So I'm not going to in details, so due to time constraint. Okay, so okay, thank you. With this, I would like to conclude my speech, and thanking again Info-Lib Academia and the organized joint organizer
Thank you, thank
Sarsuna
you,
College
Dr.
for.
Shobhanjit. Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Shobhanjit
thank you.
Chatterjee. You have discussed in detail. Actually, time is short, so justice is denied for discussing everything. But you have discussed a number of issues, mainly the journey of the National Library and a number of techniques or guidelines adopted in the National Library for the different areas, and ultimately your speech is covered through the COVID-19 COVID-19 perspective, and how preventive measures can be taken, and your discussion is based on the issues to overcome the situation. So thank you, Shobhanjit again. Now I do request Dr. Samyukta Mitro, Dr. Samyukta Mitro, librarian of Rani Birla Girls College, to present your speech. Please, Samyukta Mitro.
Sangyukta, unmute yourself, please. Unmute.
Unmute.
Start your mic, Sangyukta. It is not
Am I
working.
audible, ma'am?
Unmute.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes. Yes.
Am I presenting successfully? Is it sharing? My screen is sharing.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. Make it more. Yes. Slide share you can do.
Now
Slide
is it?
share.
It's okay.
Yes, it's okay. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely okay. Absolutely.
Thank you very much to my respected teachers, Dr. Biplab Chakraborty sir, my another teacher, Dr. Shapna Banerjee ma'am. Thank you to the respected principal sir of Sarsuna College, Dr. Shubhankar Tripathi, and definitely thank you to the organizing committee of Info Library Academia for giving us this platform to share our views on this during this pandemic situation. As all of you are listening about the technicalities of the preservation regarding the materials of library, archives, and other artifacts. So, to change the mode of, I'm going towards a little bit lighter mode regarding the cultural heritage of the world, of our country. As my topic is preservation of cultural heritage, the title gives us two main facets.
preservation and cultural heritage. Preservation is very formal, very common and integral part in our profession, in our librarians' profession. We all know that starting from the purchasing of a book, the first and foremost thing which we need to think is how to keep that book for a longer time, how to preserve it. But I am emphasizing on the term cultural heritage, what it is exactly. This term is also very common to us. As I love to travel a lot, I think there are many people who's like me. Right now, it's very painful that I can't traveling can't go outside for visiting other places. But whenever we visit to other place, in the places of interest list, there are certain things which we see in every places: museums, cultural sites, heritage sites. I think you are also saying the same thing. So here I would like to say, let's come to the point then, what is heritage? Heritage is a property, in one word, that is inherited or passed down from previous generation. In the case of cultural heritage, the heritage doesn't consist of money or property, but of culture, values, and tradition. Cultural heritage implies a shared bond, our belongings to a community. It represents our history and our identity, our own identity, our bond to the past and to our present and for the future. So if we look for formal meaning of cultural heritage, in Paris in 2002, there was a meet of tourism, ICOMOS. It is mentioned over there, cultural heritage is an expression of the ways of living developed by a community and passed on from generation to generation, including customs, practices, places, objects, artistic expressions, and values. Also, John Feather, in his work, who once an archaeologist in his profession, has mentioned in 2006, it is actually a human creation intended to inform our future, to gather information from the past and pass it to the future generation. So, preservation and conservation of these cultural heritages is very, very much important. The importance of cultural heritage could be said that the cultural heritage and natural history of a nation has a very high value and is unique. Culture and its heritage reflect and shape values, beliefs, and aspirations, thereby defining a people's national identity. It is important to preserve our cultural heritage because it keeps our integrity as a people, as a human, in this pandemic situation, which is desperately been needed. We isolated, we are keeping it as a guidelines, the isolation. But among that isolation also, we can keep together ourselves in an integrated way through our cultural heritage. Simon Thurley is an English academic and architectural historian, has mentioned in 2005 regarding a heritage cycle, why or how these cultural heritage is important and is helpful for past and for future. He has mentioned the categories by understanding, by valuing, by caring, and by enjoying. By understanding, he has emphasized to understand the history and culture, and by identifying from different parts of the world the items uh, which we can preserve to provide the cultural information for the future. By valuing it, to give proper respect in front of everyone, we have to give the proper valuation of the identified collected object which we understood to be the cultural element. By caring, it represents to maintain and preserve them with utmost care and love. And by enjoying, he represents the display and exhibition of these heritages so that generations gather knowledge through enjoyment. So, in this way, you can understand that how this heritage cycle is revolving uh, from generation to generation, and it is also showing the work process of the cultural heritage being maintained. The term tangible and intangible words are very much used in our profession regarding the materials. So here also the term tangible heritage refers in general to all the material traces such as archaeological sites, historical monuments, artifacts, and objects that are significant to a community, a nation, or humanity. Having at one time referred exclusively to the monumental remains of culture, cultural heritage as a concept has gradually come to include new categories. Today, we find that heritage is not only manifested through tangible forms but intangible also. The term intangible heritage includes voices, values, traditional oral history. Popularly, this is perceived through cuisine, clothing forms of shelters, traditional skill and technologies, religious ceremonies, performing arts, storytelling. Today, we consider tangible, inextricably bound up with other intangible heritage. So preservation, and definitely in conservation project, we aim to preserve both the tangible and intangible heritage because that totally makes our cultural heritage. There are certain common and important factors which we all need to take care regarding preservation of all types of heritages. These technicalities are already been discussed in by my respected speakers also. So again, repeating the same thing, these are the basic factors which we need to look after during the preservation of any material. So same case is happening for the preservation of cultural material. The foremost thing is the environment. Environment consists of temperature, HVAC, heating, ventilation, and AC maintenance, light, and regular housekeeping. The controlling of environment where materials are being kept, and it always starts with controlled humidity and temperature levels, good air quality definitely, and a controlled light and ventilation proper. Regular housekeeping and maintenance is very important for old preserved materials as they are very soon catches humidity and started to deteriorate their physical ability. Nowadays, various mechanical instruments are also available to check constantly these the environmental issues. There are different types of room thermometers which are being kept on the wall to show the measurements, the present status of the room atmosphere. Second part is the education. It is very essential in case of cultural heritage as to provide the to pass the information to the future. We definitely have to make the effort to exhibit and display the cultural heritage. Otherwise, it will not carry the values or knowledge to the future. So, in that case, education of the user of the patrons are very, very essential. The users or visitors are only look for information. They are deemly aware about the physical condition of the materials. So it is an important task from the managerial part to raise patron awareness by preparing booklets, flyers, bookmarks, or other handouts with basic rules and regulation regarding objects to stay from outside or not to touch the particular material, or if you want to see it, use the gloves or touch it virtually. So there are different measures can be taken by the respective heritage institutions which they need to mention in their rules or in their flyers uh, uh, in front of the user of the heritage visitors. Thirdly, disaster planning and response. Here, disaster planning is very much essential for any type of organization, whether cultural heritage or any working organization, to keep it in their planning system so that in emergency it could be evacuated, or contingency or collections can be saved from the present disaster. Making plans for responding to emergencies in preservation is the most and basic level. Fires, hurricanes, tornadoes, acts of terrorism or vandalism, etc., are the greatest fear for the cultural heritages. Proper planning is always required, definitely. The world is right now facing a very mm, a very sensitive issue regarding this epidemic, which we are hoping to definitely come out with this pandemic, which is caused by this viral epidemic of COVID-19. And hence, after reopening from these epidemic, we have to follow a new normal life. The term has already been come into our literature, the new normal, because in that case, even along with the cultural heritages, the people who are associated with this cultural heritage, especially the staff, the skilled work staff members who are conservating these objects, and also to the visitors who are coming in case inside the room or in a exhibit hall, we have to maintain new rules and regulations, new flyers, new patron educations will be definitely required. The last and the most important is the proper storage. Storage is definitely very important. Providing good and safe storage is always a part of preservation, definitely. While safe environment can help to protect against the chemical deterioration, a safe storage protect the material to be distorted. A proper storage furniture always helpful in using the particular material, in handling the particular material, so that the old and brittle documents can last for more longer time. So it reduces the damage from handling. John Feather, the one of the famous archaeologist, in his work Managing Documentary Evidences in the year 2006, he divided the cultural heritage into three main categories. The first one is built environment. The cultural heritage, the first and foremost which we identify by listening the term cultural heritage, is the buildings, the monuments, the archaeological remains. Here I have represented three pictures from Konark temple, the broken part, this Nat Mandir at the front of the temple. Second one is the civilization, the broken civilization of Harappa. And third one is our own Victoria Memorial, the building monument, which is preserved very beautifully and very beautifully presented for the visitors also. Second part, which I have mentioned here, is the natural environment. He categorized the cultural heritage as a natural environment. Yes, UNESCO World Heritage has given many places which are naturally formed, preserving. The first picture which I have presented here is the Sundarban National Park, where the nature itself preserved the mangrove tree plantation in a very beautiful way, creating the forest very ideal for our own Royal Bengal tiger, and a perfect swampy land for the vegetation, for the habitats inside there. And beside it is the Valley of Flowers at Uttarakhand, which is also been cited as the National Heritage Site by the UNESCO. Third part is the important artifacts, where we librarians and archivists or museum people are very much bound, very much dealing with this category is artifacts, books, documents, objects, and pictures. Yes, these are the things which maximum of our library is having in our library, which we need to preserve inside the library room with utmost care to contain, to resist the history of our institution, of our organization, or of our city. So this part where the librarians and archivists are working, it is being termed as documentary heritage. Heritage dealing with different types of documents. So maintenance of documentary heritage in this present pandemic is definitely is a very challenging right now, as all the for us, for the college librarians, it is being closed. The public libraries are also being closed, though they are opening with a very restricted rules and regulation. As per the professional descriptions for librarians, that is, we are mainly surrounded with this third category of cultural heritage called documentary heritage. A division of American Library Association along with UNESCO has designed certain guidelines that is essential to maintain these documents during the present pandemic. Here I am talking about the old documents the libraries are containing, the archives are containing, the archival document, where conservation part is very important, where the skilled staffs are very much required in their the fitness, because the conservation of old documents is not, it can't be stopped. We have to take care like a baby every day or in every regular interval. So disinfecting the cultural resources is very much important right now, because the collections, especially in archives, the work is going on, objects are coming. In that case, disinfection in this pandemic situation is very much necessary. Use of sanitizer on the materials and keep it for 72 hours before next process. The 72 hours here mentioned as per the guidelines, as per the observation of World Health Organization, where it has been identified that the COVID-19 virus can possibly stay on the surface for 3 days or 72 hours maximum. So in that case, they have maintained they have identified this R to keep a safe process. Number two, disinfecting circulating books and other collections in the same manner. The use of sanitizer, the use of um, covered the use of covered books, and also the Abira ma'am who has mentioned in her lecture that the drop box for returning the books or for collecting the items from outside. In a simple word, the items which we are getting from outside, we have to keep it in a separate space, we have to sanitize it, we have to keep it for 2 to 3 days at least, so that this infection can't be circulated among the other living identities who are present near it. Professionals need special protections like gloves, goggles, hand sanitizers, definitely, because the professionals are always need to be fit, because without them, these cultural documentary heritages will be alone, will be neglected. So the professionals towards these cultural heritages are definitely be present in a fit, in a 100% fit way. We will try. This is all the best opportunity, best priority. Users visit to be restricted in numbers with proper safe distancing among them. Sure, these are also the guideline of the present COVID-19 pandemic given by the World Health Organizations, that users who are visiting the library or the archives or the museum, they have to maintain a restriction among themselves. They have to take proper care regarding as the enclosure, as they are entering into a closed enclosure. We are all right now sitting in Kolkata, the former capital of India, where the British India Company arrived during 1690 or 1600 century, rather we can say in a big way, when the company was consolidating its trade business in Bengal. Literacy, artistic and revolutionary heritage in regarding these heritages, Kolkata is predicted as a hub holding precious information through various archives, museums, and libraries. The city of cultural and historical hub of India, and this is the city itself. So here there are a lot of cultural monuments. I think this drawing will show you somehow the built character, the built type of the cultural heritage. But along with the holdings which these cultural heritages, the built cultural heritages are keeping inside, that is the documentary heritages, are very, very valuable, especially regarding our Indian history. It can be well said that our city is holding both tangible and intangible cultural heritage of our country, and therefore the constant preservation and navigation of these heritages are essential. And there are many governmental and private initiatives helps are maintaining this culture. The notable are two parts which I have mentioned as a notable is the very conservative programs by National Library, with whom these organizations can carry on with the collaboration, and also the Ram Mohan Roy Library Foundation, they are also collaborating in these conservation programs. Before ending my presentation, I would like to share our own West Bengal State Archive, the precious treasure of documentary heritage. The treasure house of documentary heritage, we can say, representing three areas. One is at the, all of us know, the 6 Bhavani Datta Lane at College Street. The another one is the Writers Building, which is right now renovated, and the access to that archival part is right now closed. And the third and the modern and the most best infrastructural ability is the West Bengal State Archive, established here at Shakespeare Sharoni, right opposite to my college. So quick facts about our own West Bengal State Archive. Started at 1820, General Record Office, Imperial Record Office, and Secretariat Record Room. These are the three areas of the State Archive. On that time, it was not West Bengal State Archive, it was the Record Office, whose main objective was to centralize all the revenue and judicial records of Government of India, to prepare and preserve the public records of Bengal. The preservation part has been started from 1820 only. 1911, these imperial record departments shifted to Delhi, as the capital of India is also shifted from Kolkata to Delhi, and later on became Archival of India. 1951, Record Office and Secretariat Record Room merged and came under Home Department as State Archive, or our West Bengal State Archive. As I mentioned earlier, there are three addresses: Writers Building, ground floor, 6 Bhavani Datta Lane, Kolkata, and the West Bengal State Archive, 43 Shakespeare Sharoni. Writers Building, as we all know, the renovation work is going on. In that case, their archival part is being closed to access. So these two other areas we can visit online. Collect Bengal State Archive. So here the collection they have divided in these three areas in three different ways. In Bhavani Datta Lane, they have collected 1958 to 1900 judicial revenue records of Bengal. From 1906 to 1942, all the pictures and photographs, PWD documents, and IB reports are being collected and preserved over there. And from 1947 to current, it is maintaining by Writers Building or the present government situated at the Nabanna office. There they are maintaining all the documents which are related to West Bengal State Archive. They are maintaining over there. The current work is going on. The documentation policy of West Bengal State Archive is in this following way. I have represented. They mainly selected for 30 years old document for their archival collection. They used to maintain an accession register of their own format. This is the format I have presented on this slide. You can see the serial number, the date, province from which these documents are coming, the title of the file, and definitely the file location or the shelf number. Classification, they have maintained their own classification system, principle of province, chronology, branch, and then department. 14C 2003, you can see where 14 is the number of the department with a number. C represent the criminal files, that is the the abbreviated form, you can say. And 2003 is the chronology. Subject heading, full name of the file in use, they are maintaining. This system is I have surveyed during my PhD work through the 6 Bhavani Datta Lane. There it is being mentioned. Shelving and display with the proper exhibition at Shakespeare Sharoni. They used to do exhibition at Shakespeare Sharoni branch. And other services which they used to give: indexing, photocopy, seminar or workshops, reproductions, but all these services are with prior information, with prior permission. Who can visit archives? The person who is doing research work and needs historical evidences, definitely they can visit. It's a very treasure house for the historical research. The students can visit in group from institutions to know about the archives, to know about the collections, why these archives are also present along with libraries and museums. The government or non-government persons can also visit the archive for information regarding legal issues and which is protocol yes, the other two users also need due to this present pandemic. These services are trying to maintain services their it is
I think there is some network problem with Sangyukta Mitro. So we can't watch the time because we are already lagging behind the time. So I do request Suchishmita Mojumdar, librarian of Sri Sir Gurudas Mahavidyalaya, to deliver a lecture.
Thank you, sir. A very good afternoon to all of you. I am indeed grateful to my teacher, Professor Chakraborty, and Principal Sir of Sarsuna College for giving me this opportunity to be the speaker for today's session. I am indeed indebted to my ma'am, Dr. Shapna Banerjee. She is my guide, and I owe everything related to the knowledge of preservation I have. And today, I am also surely going to share a few important outcomes of my research work over here. And I'm feeling blessed that I'm over here as a speaker. I welcome all of you, all the participants to my session, and give me a few moments to share my screen. Yeah, hello. I hope I am audible. I hope I am audible to you.
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you.
Yes,
So
audible,
today
audible.
we are into a today into a very important and very rightly selected topic for today's scenario, that is the tools and techniques for preserving the library documents. So my topic of today's session is preservation of paper. That is the key issue today. And how to save the original document from deterioration is the million-dollar question for the librarians as well as the archivists and those who are visiting to these places to see these age-old heritages. So the visible deteriorations are mainly in the form of yellowing of paper, that is brown spots, red spots, yellowishness, brown spots, brittleness, and the paper becomes moist, fungal growth appears, and other biological agents of deterioration. So that is the alarming sign for the librarians as well as the archivists. So different measures that constitute the mammoth task for the librarians as well as the archivists is to take sufficient measures to prevent these documents from being deteriorated. So the traditional techniques we are generally adopted, starting from a very few preliminary ones, we generally apply naphthalene balls, or we put neem leaves in the shelves, we put cumin black in the shelves or in the books, we use flow dough to catch these silver fishes, as well as we use caustic soda or cloves, especially in the college libraries where so much of infrastructure is not provided. So we take these measures, as well as we also some other techniques you can also see here, some tobacco leaves or even turmeric. We are using these things, and regular maintenance efforts, we are not leaving a stone unturned in taking care of the valuable documents for the future. We do for good housekeeping, climate control, air conditioning, everything we take care of. But instead of these, apart from these, why these documents are deteriorating so fast? So where lies the actual problem? So I think the actual problem actually is in the property of the paper, that is the characteristics of the paper, or the quality of the paper, or the different parameters of the paper. This is a very critical issue in paper preservation. So various popular types of papers generally the librarians and archivists come across. They are acid-free papers, archival paper, recycled paper. But is it that the preservative measures we are applying for the acid-free paper will be similar to that of the recycled paper, or it will be same as that of the alkaline paper? Obviously not, because recycled paper has a different composition starting, and acid-free paper has a very drastically different composition. So before applying any type of preservation techniques, we have to know about these papers. Yes, different libraries and archives are applying different measures, but to restrict those attempts or efforts, to minimize those efforts, we have to know about these papers. So how to know about the quality of a paper? We have to have the knowledge about the essential properties of the paper. Another way is for the indications of the paper quality and paper quality standards, conforming to the paper quality standards, or ultimately doing some paper quality tests. So I'll be giving a brief overview of these things in this session of mine. So actually paper we know is an organic compound. So basically I'll not go through all these processes. I'm just telling the main thing, that is that the paper quality exactly depends upon its manufacture, how it has been manufactured, what is the raw material for manufacturing the paper, what was the pulp for manufacturing the paper, how the pulp was separated. Means lignin is a glue type of thing actually, that remains in the pulps and it gets separated during the pulp. That lignin, if remains in the paper, can cause acidity. We cannot apply the external measures to control that kind of deterioration or damage. And another thing is that the pH of the paper, is it acidic, is it alkaline pH? The formation of the paper, it depends about the fiber distribution, fiber length. The recycled papers are of very short fibers, as well as the virgin fiber, that is for example from trees etc., that has not been used for paper making any time. Those are more strong fibers, but we don't know. When we see a paper, we cannot just guess that what type of paper it is and what is its composition. So there are various ways to find it out. And so the paper manufacturing, during the manufacturing process actually we have to be more concerned about paper preservation, but that is not the true scenario in our country, and maybe worldwide also. So some internal factors, natural aging of paper actually hastens due to its aging, and the natural aging makes the paper deteriorate through time. So there are indigenous factors. So I am right now discussing a few important properties of paper, especially for the librarian friends or the archivists or my students who are present over here. That grammage is the weight of the paper plays an important role. Around 70 GSM of paper is good. It is called bond paper, or it is I will not say good. I cannot say good from here. From my experience, I can say that. But tissue paper is finer. and thicker papers are board papers. So we have to have a paper that can be suitable for preserving and writing the document or printing the document. Sizing or curve, this is the water absorption capacity of the paper is measured by this curve value. Tensile strength, how long it can endure, the paper can endure the different agents inside it, and also external ones, external agents such as the humidity or temperature that keeps on affecting it, especially in the hot and humid climate of India. So pH is another factor, whether it is alkaline or acidic. I have already told. The porosity of the paper makes it absorb water. The fold endurance of paper. So it's very, very important to have a knowledge of the quality of the paper before attempting with the preservation tools and techniques. And sufficient, where can we get the sufficient information? Yes, we have to get the sufficient information. I will tell right now. And otherwise, unknowingly, we can hasten the paper for deterioration. We cannot do anything after applying so many preventive measures. Some associated measures are also, associated issues are also there in paper preservation. The preservative techniques are not without limitations. That is true. And we have scarcity of workers, trained staff. We have scarcity of technical support for preservation. We have low infrastructure. And maintaining ideal conditions, some other factors also play, that acid free boxes or containers or everything that is available in the market. But if you put the things that are deteriorating into that, or from the starting, how can we afford that? How many boxes we can purchase, or how many measures can we take? Acidification techniques have also their shortcomings, and that we know from studies, from different papers, from studies we know that. So covers and bindings can also infuse. They are hard board paper. So board has a different property and paper has a different property. And we are merging this and we are making a total book or a manuscript or a cover. So these will not match up with each other and can hasten the deterioration also. So damp and moisture, if we say that last days we faced the Amphan, or we are not going to our organizations today due to COVID-19. So damp atmosphere, closed environment, we are not running the humidifiers, or we are not going through the AC machines right now. It's closed. The libraries are mostly closed. So damp can happen. The moisture absorption once can happen into it. So how can we protect that? Even freezing, dehumidification, and vacuum freezing have their these are a few restoration techniques, but we don't want to go for that. We want to preserve it. It is always said that we should take care before the document is ready for being lost. So antifungal methods are also there, but those have shortcomings. So chances of the loss of the valuable documents cannot be ruled out. But the standardization, regarding standardization of paper, yes, there is a silver lining. There are standards of paper. Complying to the standards of paper can save the documents. We have the as printed these kinds of, you can see here some of the indications of acid free paper or different good quality paper are given by the standardization organizations in the along with the paper, or in the book in the title page. You can see sometimes in some old books of different publishers, whereas these standards for quality of paper give the requirements, specifications, and test methods, so that we can go for a good quality of paper for preservation, and first of all writing the documents and then for preservation. But also there are problems associated with standardizations. So the standardization organizations are mainly ANSI, ISO, Australian Standard, TUPP, ASTM, and as you can see, I have chalked out over here what the standards provide us with. Indications for paper quality. Paper quality standards define the requirements of the paper. Requirements means what its constituents has to be for being a certain kind of paper. What are the requirements for a permanent paper? And the paper quality standards specify those, and they also define test methods. So before knowing a paper, we can also go for test methods, but those are costly and we cannot repeat it for every document for knowing each and every paper. So implementation of standards, the standards are actually revised in 5 years, but these standards such as Bureau of Indian Standards. This is the Indian Standard Organization. ANSI, TAPI, ASTM, and ISO have interrelated concepts and interrelated provisions. But still there is inconsistency still now, because I have myself visited and asked for the paper quality and talked with the paper quality experts from different industries also, but they have also said that implementation of standards is yet not consistent. So another issue is this recycled paper. I told that because recycled paper will consist of so many items in it. Newspapers are there, phone books, loose shredded papers, paper bags, all into the same stock. So when that stock is converted into paper, so how can we go for the the components of this paper, how much the lignin is there? We have to go for the tests to know that, and those papers will not last for long. So another issue these days is that we can say this issue because the librarians and archivists are nowadays, especially the college librarians or institutions, they are engaged more in this online conversions of the documents, and also online delivery of information. Everything is going online these days. So it's a difficult issue for us to continue with the preservation. We cannot look after the books as we need to look after. So but digitization is surely the preservation of the contents of the information, but still there are loopholes, and digitization actually cannot save the original document, the original paper document. We cannot save the original paper document. So if we have that urge, librarians and the archivists have to have that urge to preserve the documents. The visions of the manufacturing people can be different. The visions of the people who are dealing with the environmental issues with the paper can be different. But our issue is different. We want to save the paper-based document. Actually, we want to keep the document for record keeping for the future generations. So what can we do? So new approaches are coming up. I have also studied in my research work. I have studied that there are so many problems with preservation, and which is a time consuming task. Also, it's a mammoth task. So I have developed a paper that can be selectively employed for archival purpose, and it will need less effort for preservation. It can restrict environmental factors associated with preservation, and it has enhanced properties. It is water repellent and also antifungal. So water repellent, this is my work. So water repellent paper, you can see here the image. This is the control paper, and this is the NP means nanoparticle. I have done the work with zinc oxide nanoparticle coating on the paper, so it can restrict the entry of water into it. And you can see this is the contact angle image. Contact angle means when the water droplet comes in contact with the paper, you can see the paper coated with zinc oxide nanoparticle is still on after some time, and you can see an angle for it, that is called contact angle. But here in the second image, you can see when the drop falls on the paper, it readily gets absorbed, and we cannot find an angle with the droplet. And this is the Aspergillus niger, a kind of fungal strain. We have worked on it. So you can see clear zones of inhibition. We can restrict the attack of fungus on paper uh, after the zinc oxide nanoparticle coating. So you can also go through my paper and also my research work to know what I have done. And you can also see after my research work, after my studies, I am more interested in searching. I am seeing whether other dimensions, what other people are also studying. In recent one in 2021 AG, the silver functionalized nanocrystalline cellulose has been used has been obtained from waste paper, and they are also studying the biocidal activity of it. Actually, what we want to see, another work is there also. This is another different dimension of work on green synthesis of nanoparticles and utilizing it for paper conservation against microbes and biodeterioration. Another one is working on, it is another different dimension of work, that is monitoring the effect of biosynthesized nanoparticles. So you can see that nanoparticles in the future may have nanoparticles are the particle of sizes of 1 to 100 nm, that is 10 to the power minus 9 So it's so small particles, but this has a future in preservation, I think, because we cannot, when the time is passing by, we have to get engaged in other activities, other works. So we have to find some way so that the original paper is more, the paper can defend itself from deterioration. It can restrict itself from water, damage from water, or from molds or fungal attack. It is strengthened, the mechanical property is enhanced, because properties of paper are many: physical properties, chemical properties, optical, mechanical, and surface property. So surface property of the paper is, if enhanced, can actually leave the archivists or the librarians into some relief that yes, my paper is in good condition. Even if maybe the days will come, we have to change our approach towards preservation of paper based how days, how preservation can play, and how this problem of preservation can be solved. Ma'am has already said that there is also another way coming up of leisure studies. So preservation is going to continue. Only the way of seeing at preservation will change. And obviously, we have to remember one fact, that paper deteriorates due to its internal quality, its properties, and we have to be very careful while applying any preservation technique, that this book is unique. So every child, every baby is unique to its mother. Similarly, for a librarian or archivist, each and every book, each and every paper is unique. We cannot apply similar techniques on the same on every kind of paper. So it will hasten the deterioration, not help the librarian or the archivist for preservation. So preservation is better than cure. Always we have to keep it in mind. So we have to preserve so that we don't have to go for restoration works, because restoration may not be able to bring our own document back. That is 100% possible. So thank you organizers, everyone, for giving me this opportunity again. Thank you so much.
Uh, Thank you, Dr. Suchishmita. Very much informative and important deliberations made by you. How to save the documents from deterioration. You have covered a number of areas, and mainly from the point of view of paper, how the visible deterioration can be done, what are the actual problems, how to know about the paper quality, paper manufacturing process, what are the methods are used, what are the inherent factors, important properties of paper, and all these are discussed in the point of in the point of the preservation concern. Thank you. A number of areas also you have covered, but time is short, so I am not mentioning all the issues. So thank you already. Thanks already to be given to Sangyukta also. She told about the preservation of cultural heritage, but because of the some technical problems in network connection, she did not cover. But however, she covered the cultural heritage and and how the cultural heritage are to be preserved. And I think she has not mentioned about the West Bengal State Archives the preservation policy on the preservation. Just she started started her deliberations, but however, a number of questions came to you, Sangyukta, that like Rakesh and others, if the PPT can be shared by you, then they will be beneficial. So this is for Sangyukta. So I think you have no problem. So if you share your PPT to the Info-Lib Academia, then they can be shared to all other participants, because a number of participants who want to know about the West Bengal State Archives. Oh, I am sorry that I can give you the time. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, speak, Sangeeta.
Sir, I have already shared it. I have sent it to the info library.
The organizers are requested to announce that PPT will be shared to them.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. It can be shared, sir. It can.
Okay. Thank you to you. And Nivedita Bhattacharya asked, anybody can give answer that are there any sanitizer which can be used to disinfect the document besides alcohol? So anybody can answer the question made by Nivedita. Are there any sanitizers which can be used to disinfect the documents? Do you know? Unmute, please.
Hello?
Yes.
Sir,
not audible.
There are
Can you hear?
Can you hear me, sir?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All sanitizers are alcohol based, which can disinfect COVID-19 virus too. So there are alcohol based sanitizers. All sanitizers are alcohol based, which can disinfect COVID-19 virus. All of us we know. So there is no sanitizer that are activate that can deactivate COVID-19 virus only without alcohol based. So alcohol based sanitizers are.
So alcohol should be there. Okay.
Alcohol should be there.
Another question is. Okay, another question from Azma Najir Sheikh, that if rare book is damaged, so how to preserve and rebound that particular rare book?
Rare books.
If rare book is damaged.
No, I already mentioned.
Yes.
Alcohol-based sanitizer is not applicable for rare books. They have to place quarantine area and fumigate.
No, Amira, Madam Amira, this is not. This is the second question from Azma Nazir Sheikh, that if the rare book is damaged, then how to preserve and rebound that particular rare book?
So we have to follow the procedures, lamination. There are various restorative techniques which can follow for the undamaged to undamaged condition.
Okay. Then already you have mentioned in your discussion, if the participants are to be acquainted with the discussion, then they can know the answer. Okay, now I am coming to the last part, because the more than actually more than 2 hours we have taken, so we have to close our the program very soon. Only I have to say that all the speakers, right from the keynote speaker, Professor Swapna Banerjee, to Dr. Suchishmita Majumdar, via Dr. Abira Chakraborty, Dr. C. Shobhanji Chatterjee, and Dr. Sangyukta Mitra, all you have tried to justify your speech very properly and rightly. I have no only network, due to network problems. Sangyukta has not mentioned about the state archives program and problem. whatever it may be, all the speech deliberations made by you are very informative, and I think all the participants feedback are also the same like me, that they have been very much informative, and they have got the information from you a number of on a number of issues. So thanks to all the speakers, thanks to all the participants who are already with us. A number of questions relating to the thanks to you all, and a minimum questions have come from them, are also by answering, are also be solved by answering your from your part. So thanks to the participants also. So I don't waste much time because everybody I think everybody is a problem of network correction, and everybody is in a hungry position at the moment. My microphone is now handed over to the organizers, Dr. Abul Salam and Dr. Onindita Basu. Oh, sorry, Miss Simoti Onindita Basu. Yes, Onindita Basu and Abul Salam. Okay, they are not in picture. So, I am really very happy. I am really
Thank you.
very happy and glad and proud that to be present with you. All you are familiar with me for a number of days and for a number of years. So, your active participation, your active deliberations, made me more highlight and impressed me. So thank you again. Thank you all the speakers and the conveners also. Yes, on the Bashir Abu Salam. Over to them.
Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank you very much, sir. अच्छा बोलो अनिंदिता कैरी ऑन.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your complete involvement throughout the session and make the successful execution of the webinar. Now we are at the end of the program. My sincere thanks goes to all participants also for being patient and listening till end. We have an announcement that our next webinar will be on 6th September in same time from 11:30 with same collaboration, and the topic is virtual library service during COVID-19 challenges and ways. These webinars are also very relevant in this present situation. Please be with us on the next webinar also. Now I am requesting Dr. Abul Salam for the vote of thanks session. Dr. Salam, please carry on the session.
Thank you very much, Anindita, for delivering to mic to me. Actually, I am on the way to some doctor's appointment. I am going to traveling by car. So thank you very much, sir, for your nice collaboration and organize moderation of this webinar. And really, we have heard different type of topics and increase our knowledge or enlighten our knowledge on the different aspects of tools and techniques for preserving the library documents in the present situation. There are a lot of issues have come, particularly on the speech of our respected keynote speakers, Dr. Sapna Banerjee Madam. He has highlighted almost all the issues covering the topics, particular from the traditional preservations to the digital preservations part. And of course, there are a lot of models have already developed by the Library of Congress. We have premise. We all know that premise is there for the standards for the metadata preservations, and others Python related or PHP related some codes or metadata elements are there. So we may have go to through that particular premise and other models, particularly in case of organization of the all types of preservation documents, when we are want to preserving those, particularly in digital content. So we all have to have covered, and then uh, the time of vote of thanks. Actually, at first, my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Tripathi, Principal of Sarsuna College, for giving us to chance the collaboration with us Info-Lib Academia to organize such a wonderful webinar. We also will have another webinar on 6th September for this on the topics virtual library service during COVID-19. What are the challenges and ways on that particular topic we will discuss on that day. And then I would like to thanks Miss Anindita Basu, my co-convener, to have a great collaboration with us and to give us very good support to organize this seminar. I would like to convey my heartiest thanks to Dr. Professor Biplab Chakraborty, our sir. Really, he's always encouraging us to organize such type of programs and with the latest and uh, developed topics, modern topics to update always up for this during the period. And then I would like to convey my heartiest thanks to Dr. Abira Chakraborty ma'am, the actual Didi, librarian, Loreto College. He really enlightened us on the traditional preservation tools, what would be the procedures and tools, techniques we would like to use for traditional preservation part in our regular academic libraries. Thank you very much, Dr. Chakraborty. And next, Dr. Sangjukta Mitro, uh, actually delivered letters to Dr. Ms. Shobhanjit Chatterjee, a librarian of the West Bengal Taxation Tribunal. Whenever he was in the National Library, he delivered a wonderful thought on the traditional preservation as well as modern preservation tools, which they are doing in the National Library. And then Dr. Sangjukta Mitro, librarian Rani Birla Girl provide my convey my heart for Mitro for his for her wonderful speech on archival matter. Uh, Thank you very much, Dr. Mitro. Then Dr. Sutismita Majumdar, I would also like to convey my heartiest thanks to Sutismita. He also delivered a wonderful speech to update our knowledge regarding the tools and techniques for preserving the library documents in the present situation. Actually, all of these speakers have delivered such a really wonderful uh, uh, themes and topics to update us on the on our today's theme. And really, we will also want to invite them in future webinar also. If we organize such type of other types due to lack of time constraint, we would like to close today this webinar. Thank you to all and thank you very much. Sir, please, if you like to conclude the program.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Dr. Abul. I think that the time is over, and I convey my thanks to all the organizers, all the speakers, all the participants. Again, thank you all, and I think that this webinar, today's webinar, may be closed from just right now, and on 6th we will be taking. Thank you. Thank you.